I confronted her with the contents of the messages and made it clear I know it's an emotional affair at least. She finally admits it, but says there's been no sex, and that she's not interested in sex with anyone, not just me. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, My Wife, a 36-year-old female, cheated on me after 10 years of marriage, now suggests an open marriage. And guys, this story is all about a guy who finds out that his wife has been cheating on him for 10 years. The entire duration of their marriage. 10 years. And you're going to see in this story, guys, that to no surprise, there is a point where the sex completely came to a screeching halt. She was distant with him, a lot of suspicious red flag behavior going on, and yet the guy just kept on and stayed with her because obviously it's his wife, because he eventually had 2 kids with her, all that. He's a good man. Unfortunately, he was a clueless man, too nice, and she took full advantage of it. You're also going to see here, guys, how eventually when he finds out things are going on, he still stays with her. And just the sad thing is, kindness is always mistaken for weakness with people like this. And once a cheater, always a cheater. But eventually you're going to see that when he finally knows 100% that it isn't just her talking to other dudes, or when actually there's physical things going on, she then comes clean and says, I want to have open marriage. Imagine that. Essentially a free pass to cheat. And he says, not happening, and get out, which is very nice to hear. But anyhow, guys, this goes to show you that you always have to keep your eyes open, can't turn a blind eye, pay attention to red flags, all that. But here, the whole marriage, 10 years since they got married, this bullshit was going on. This poor guy. So, a lesson, pay attention. So, starts off, he says here, I've been married for 10 years. Our relationship is international, meaning we're from different countries and have lived in different countries around the world together, including her country and my own because of my work. We both speak each other's languages fluently. We have 3-year-old twins together. Since having kids, our sex life declined steadily. In the last year, we've had sex twice. Twice? Believe me, she's getting someplace else, obviously, but this guy didn't know. He says oral only a few times. Last year wasn't much better. She is rarely affectionate with me, and I have never cheated, although she often accused me of that early in our relationship. Imagine that. The cheater is accusing him of cheating, because cheaters think that pretty much everybody does that to justify their actions. For most of our 10 years, she didn't work, or only briefly. When she did, it was jobs that I found for her. I full-on created a well-paid career for her, and that she started 5 months ago. This is the longest she has ever worked. Even when I was off work for a period of time on disability leave for a neurological condition, a few years into our marriage, years before we had kids and we spiraled deeper into debt, she didn't look for work. I earned money while mostly bedridden with a side business when I had energy. Since recovery, I continued a successful career, got us out of debt, traveled the world, etc. Not rich, but comfortable. Good Lord, he's bed-stricken with a freaking medical leave, and she can't get her ass out of bed and find work. And he started a side business while he was in bed on medical leave. This is a good guy. This is a good guy, good husband, good father, good provider. But it doesn't matter nowadays, huh? I found out recently she's been texting her ex-boyfriend for months at least. She'd message him and immediately delete her messages and replies. I caught her doing something similar, probably with someone else 18 months before, and have long suspected, especially when she traveled to another city with a girlfriend when we lived in another country, and she called his number there. That was 8 years ago. She said nothing happened, just visited an old friend while there. The call was at 2 a.m. Right then and there, he should have cut her loose. Right then and there, guys. They're cheating, pulling bullshit, emotional affair, whatever. Cut it loose, because it's not going to stop. And take the sex out of the picture here, or the emotional thing going on there. It's the attention and validation. They can't live without it. But he learns the hard way when he should have cut her loose. They call each other baby. One day I was at home from work with a migraine and saw her sending messages to him, offering to send him medicine for his headache, ignoring me. She went back to her hometown to visit family for a week during a national holiday and saw him during this time. I was left home with our children. I saw her messages that she was planning to see him there. She claims they didn't have sex. I don't believe her. I don't believe her because she lies and only admits the details I tell her I have specific proof of. Well, of course she's not going to admit to anything else. Again, another example why you should have cut her loose. But he has kids at this point, and he's probably one of these guys. In fact, I know he's one of these guys that doesn't want the kids to grow up in a broken home, hurt the kids. But guess what? Is it better to have the kids grow up in a house where mom and dad don't love each other, in fact, resent the hell out of each other? She's awful. He's unhappy. It's better the kids are with him, because believe me, well, I don't want to reveal too much, but it's better they're with him and he can take care of them just fine than with her. But then there's also fathers out there that are afraid they break up, the kids will end up with her and it will be worse. So they stay in it for the kids. So this is many, many reasons why I give. Well, you got to really get to know your girl before getting married to her. And even then, you don't know her. And what could happen? I don't believe her because I confronted her that I wasn't comfortable with having a secret conversation with an ex-boyfriend she's constantly deleting. You don't say, I'm not comfortable with that. You say, you're not going to fucking talk to this guy or any other ex-boyfriend or other dudes. You married me. End of story. I'm the only guy in your life. I'm the top guy in your life. And that is a problem? Okay. I'll give you a choice. You can either stay in this marriage or you can have talk to your boyfriends. You can't have both. You make your decision. She told me that sometimes he messages her, but she usually ignores it. That I might get the wrong idea, so she deletes it. She says she will stop talking to him. Yeah, sure. A few months go by and I find out she's been chatting with him almost daily when we're both at work, and deleting it before a day is done. This time I recovered some messages. I confronted her. Same old story. He messages me sometimes, we rarely talk. I told her that I knew about the daily contact. I'm lonely, like the attention, and nothing inappropriate. I don't meet him. See what she said there? I like the attention. Every time. That's why these gals are obsessed with their social media and are always posting videos or pictures of themselves on Instagram or TikTok, whatever. And it's a drug to them, all the attention they get from dudes all over the world. And don't get me started on all the DMs those thirsty guys are going to send to these pretty girls. You think they can just switch it off? No way. It's like a freaking drug addict switching off their addiction. It's always going to be there behind the scenes, just dying to be fulfilled. I confronted her with the content of the messages and made it clear I know it's an emotional affair at least. She finally admits, but says there's been no sex, that she's not interested in sex with anyone, not just me. So, number one, bullshit, but number two, she's not interested in sex with anyone, including him. Then what are they married for? It's not a romantic relationship. It's a platonic thing if they're not hooking up. Especially the fact that they're in their 30s. 30s, mind you. That's very young. If they were in their 70s and she's lost interest in hooking up, okay, we can understand that because she's a grandma. But in her 30s, please. And we all know darn well the gals enjoy the sausage plenty. They enjoy the sex just as much as dudes, if not more, actually. I asked her if she saw him when she went back home, and she lied and told me no. I confronted her with evidence that they planned to meet. She said, yes, we did. I'm sorry. I asked if they had sex. She said, no, I don't have proof to the contrary. Yeah, I'm sure they just met to have tacos together. Bullshit. They're hooking up. The crap that guys put up with. There's a point where you feel bad for a guy, but then you eventually stop feeling bad for him because they just simply don't act like a man. They don't act like they have self-respect. And remember, if a gal is cheating on a guy and he has proof of this and he doesn't bring down the hammer on her or kick her to the curb, she loses more respect for him and will treat him worse. That's how it goes. Every time. Prior to confronting her, she suggested I go travel for a weekend to take some time off as a reward for taking care of the kids alone for a week when she was visiting family. She didn't know I knew at the time. I tried to change which day I'd travel and she got upset, so I grew suspicious. Yeah, she wanted him out of there so she can go hook up with her dude. Or dudes. After I confronted her and tell her about the evidence, she finally admits she is wrong and says she will stop contacting him. I recover her messages. She told him she needed time to think about it, that it wasn't right to always carry on like this. He said to her, you need to think about those too? I assume he meant my twins. She said, maybe I can't see you. You shouldn't come back here. He said, my flight is tomorrow morning. the day she suggested I go traveling. He asked, "Are you not firm on us?" She then called him. There you go. He had a flight planning to come into the city and see her the day this dude was leaving town. She is trash. She is a deceitful, a liar, manipulative, gaslighter. Get rid of her. How much shit does a guy have to endure before he gets a clue? These nice guys, these white knights, thanks to decades of movies and TV programming them, our society programming with a narrative, be the white knight, be the hero, Disney prince. Look how much this guy's suffering. I later confronted her on this. She was planning to bring him to my home, where my sons are. How many times has she seen him there? How many times has she seen him when she regularly went back home without me over the years? She said she wasn't planning to meet him here, and that she told him not to come. That she never met him here, and this was a recent relationship, conveniently only beginning as far back as I have proof. She's a pathological liar. You're not going to get the truth out of her. Yeah, she was planning to hook up with this dude in this guy's bed. His own house, probably when the twin kids were asleep, a couple bedrooms over. Conveniently only beginning as far back as I have proof. She asked me to try to forgive her. I told me I can sleep with other women for my intimacy sex needs. I told her I can't accept her sleeping with other men. She said she won't. I told her I don't want to sleep with other women. I want a committed marriage. Well, this guy is a good man. He's naive and too nice and all that, but he's a good man, deserves a good wife and good committed marriage, but he ain't going to get that out of her. She will never change, ever. Cut her loose. Cut her loose, cut her loose, cut her loose. And notice she said, "Oh, you can go sleep with other women." This just goes, she has no love for him, no respect for him, doesn't give a shit, and it will give her a free pass to keep hooking up with that dude. I struggled for some time with this and decided to forgive her and give her a chance. Smack. Wait, give her another chance to break your heart, to make you look like a fool? We've been together for 10 years, after all. I owe it to her, my kids, to try. You don't owe her shit. You owe your kids a better life away from her. I told her I'd work on forgiving her, but that if she did anything like this again, we would be finished. She's probably like, "Yeah, sure. You only forgive me the other 19 times that you caught me doing this and that. What makes me think you're not going to give me another chance after this?" I then find out that she's been using another chat app, downloading it as soon as we're apart and deleting the app before she gets home. I can't see any content on what's on there. I held on to the knowledge for a couple of weeks, hoping that she would stop and that maybe it was an anomaly, that this behavior has continued. See? It's like a drug addict that can't give up that drug, the drug of attention and validation, and sausage. I confronted her about it that night. He says, "You're still talking to him, aren't you? Now you're using this chat app, downloading it when we were apart and deleting it before we get back together." She says she's not talking to him. She uses it for private conversation with friends because she knows I have a way to read the main chat app that she uses. Yeah, she's using a secret app to talk to her girlfriends. And let's just say she was. Why so secret? I have no more proof, and I can't get it with this app. She knows it. She could be full on with someone on there, and I'd have no way of knowing, so she doesn't feel the need to admit anything more than what I already know. End it. Talk to a lawyer. Find out all your options, good, bad, or ugly. And even if it's ugly, find a way. Dude, this is terrible. Nobody should deal with this shit. I don't believe her, and I told her I want her to leave. Hallelujah. Our man here has finally grown a pair. It's about goddamn time. It took him 10 years. She says if I want her to leave, she will. She didn't beg, cry, fight, or show remorse. She asked me about the kids, that I can't handle them on my own. I said that I can. I've been far more involved parent while she barely looks up from her phone. She said they need their mommy. I told her that she should have thought of that before making these choices. This guy can raise it. This guy can do a lot of things all by himself. He doesn't need her. Please. And right there, she didn't beg or cry or show remorse by him kicking her out. She's thinking, great, I can go down to the Motel 6 and hook up with my lover. She says she won't leave me if I find other women. That she is committed to our family. Committed to our family, yeah, she's really demonstrated her commitment so well. That our relationship is different, but strong. She clearly has no intention of stopping what she's doing and doesn't think she is doing anything wrong. Women and accountability. She suggested an open marriage to fulfill my S-word needs, but I think it's so she can do whatever she wants guilt-free. There you go. She's like, okay, I'll twist this around. Now I'll offer him an open marriage, and that way then I can legalize my cheating, and therefore he can't say and get mad at me. Looking for perspective on this, I wish our relationship could be loving, warm, loyal, and equitable. In hindsight, it was never equitable, loving only as long as I provided, and perhaps perceived as loyal as long as she could hide it. This poor bastard. I mean, he's... First time around, it's not his fault, but the fact that he keeps turning a blind eye and letting her do this and not doing what he has to do. I get he's in a tough spot with the kids, I do, but seriously. I don't know what to do. It seems the logical thing would be divorce, keep my kids and move on, but love is illogical. How in God's name are you in love with her? Are you a glutton for punishment? Seriously. There are also my children to consider. Should I give open marriage a try just to keep my marriage alive? Should I end it now? Smack. You actually have to ask this question, dude. He says, I feel like an absolute fool. Well, dude, you are being a fool. You've been a fool for a long time by allowing this, okay? I mean, nobody deserves this, but good Lord, man. Now I provide some updates on the situation with this wonderful wife of his, Mommy Dearest here. He says here, today... Now, yesterday, I told her I won't do open marriage. Good for you, dude. I refuse to share her, and I won't be shared. I finally got her to admit that she slept with him all those years ago when she traveled to another city with a girlfriend. I told her that the said girlfriend had no idea what I was talking about, and that she had zero photos from the said trip. That was 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. Can you let it go, she says. Yeah, he's just going to let it go. He says... 8 years ago, actually, yes, it effing does. No, I will fucking not. She says she cut off contact with him after that until this year, and she hasn't slept with him since. I do not believe her. I wouldn't believe a thing she says. At all. No guy can get past that. All guys are going to just picture her cheating, and every time she's on her phone, cheating. Once a cheater, always a cheater, and she has proved this. But she's also a pathological liar. That's another thing. I told her she needs to find somewhere else to stay. She refused briefly, then finally packed a bag and left. Good. Get your ass out of here. Don't look back. Don't come around here no more, just like Tom Petty says. This isn't the end of this yet, but is another step towards an end. Thanks to everyone for your support and a confirmation of my feelings and thoughts. I appreciate it. Thank the Lord, dude. You're wising up here. Now more updates. He says here, the day I asked her to leave, but before she packed her bags and left, I sent her a couple of screenshots of the conversation she had with her affair partner after I confronted her, saying that she needed time to think about that he shouldn't come back here. There were details such as him having a flight booked for the next day that she denied and tried to gaslight me on because this is in my second language and she didn't know I had screenshots. I just sent him her screenshots, no accompanying text. Now listen, she's about to send him all these messages, and listen to the manipulation going on here to try to make him feel bad and, soften up for her. She said, I'm so sorry that I hurt you. I don't know how to make you feel better. I know. Leave me. Get out of here. Drop dead. Anything. Nothing else. She doesn't seem to try and make me feel better, or even stop the behaviors that have caused me to suffer in the first place. Update 3, he says, she left yesterday evening. This afternoon she sent a message. Her message was, thank you for everything you did for me in these 10 years. I know I'm not a great wife. You think? You deserve a better life. I love you and our sons. You're the most important thing in my life. I will still be your family, whatever we decide in the future. Love you more than anything. You're the most important thing in my life. Are you kidding? If this is how she shows people who are important to her, I'd hate to see what she does to people that aren't important to her. This brought tears to my eyes. Smack. Don't let her manipulate you. She's full of shit. Too little, too late. No attempts to fix it. No suggestions on how to improve things. Oneness has always been on me. Still is. Another thing she said here is, thank you for everything you did for in the last 10 years. No specifics. I can't be sure what she means. But to me, I've done everything for her, and she's only ever been able to see what I hadn't performed to her satisfaction. She also said, I know I'm not a great wife, and I never plan or intend to become one. She also said, you deserve a better life. She's right about one thing. I deserve a better life. Yes, you do, and you are learning, finally. She also said, I love you and our sons. She says, God damn it, this may be true on some level, but she didn't love us or respect us enough to stop cheating or consider our outcomes. Or worse, she considered this outcome and decided effing him was worth it. She also said, you're the most important things in my life. demonstratingly false. And finally, she said, I will still be your family, whatever we decide in the future. This is the one line that cuts deepest into my heart. I wanted to grow old together. I always expected we'd be a decrepit elderly couple holding hands as we shuffle through the kitchen for tea together. She stole that future from us. And that, sadly, is the end of that whole thing. And it seems like it's over. He's finally learned it's over. But listen to all those texts she was sending him and trying to make him feel bad, and obviously made him cry. Lesson in this story, guys, don't be this guy, okay? Again, not his fault the first time, or maybe even the second time, but the continued repeated mistakes of allowing her to not understanding human nature, that she's going to keep doing this over and over and again. But again, look what the narrative teaches. The guys to be the heroes, the white knights, keep forgiving them no matter what, give your everything to your girl. Look what happens. And I guarantee the dude that she was hooking up with all the time, her ex or dudes, didn't do anything. I guarantee they're the exact opposite. They probably treat her like garbage and had her chasing after them even more. But this is why I do what I do. This is why I go with these stories, to maybe hopefully help some dudes out there not make the mistake as guys like this. Because, I mean, you want to slap the shit out of him. Believe me, I do. But also, it's like, there are plenty of good guys out there that make these mistakes. You can't do that, guys. Once a girl's a cheater, they can't let go of that addiction, attention from guys, whether it be social media or real life. You cut them loose. Otherwise, you're going to be this guy, and it's not going to stop. And see, but finally, after all that shit, he finally, that's it. It's over. He's cutting her loose. But he could have done that years ago. But people have to go through hell before they learn. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know, guys. Have you actually ever known anybody that has endured something like this over and over and over again, whether it be for their kids or because they just had this warped sense of who she was, whatever? I like to hear about that in the comment section. Comment away. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.